It's another Pleasant Valley Sunday here in Giant Land. What's up, everyone? It is Sunday, Sunday. Truckosaurus. Couldn't find the button right there. Hey-o. Oh, you know what? I've had a lot of coffee. No, actually, I haven't had a lot of coffee. I had 1 cup of coffee today. We're going to talk about Giants. We're going to talk about free agency. We're going to talk about everything under the sun. Zack Attack's already saying, don't forget to hit the like button. Big Don already in his house. Good morning, Big Don. Hope everything's going well. We got free agents. We got Chris coming in saying, hello, morning. Hello, chat. Heck, Don is at work as usual. He's always working. Always working hard for the money. So you better treat him right. What's cracking? Says Kevin. Everything's just crack-a-lacking. We're good. We got the end of the season. We got the start of the new season coming up. We got to delve into the draft a little bit. We got to delve into free agency. We got to take a look at all the things New York Giants. That's what we do on Sundays. Big Doll Daryl says, good morning, Tim. Good morning, chat. Zacatech says, I made Tim's brain hurt from a tweet I sent about Xavier McKinney. Zacatech literally sent me a tweet about Xavier McKinney, and it literally did make my brain hurt. It really did make my brain hurt. And it made my brain hurt on so many different levels. I can't even tell you how many levels it made my brain hurt. Because it was sent from someone that was supposed to be, or tweeted by someone that's supposed to be like a giant, what would be a good, a giant, what would we say? Zach, what would we say this person is supposed to be? A giant, a stalwart of giant information. And it wasn't. It literally wasn't. We want to get out of Jeff Newman says, come on. Everything's going good. Everything's going great. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. We ought to talk about free agency because this salary cap thing is bugging me a little bit. Because of the fact that people still don't seem to get it. And it's interesting that you have some, yeah, we did get snow. We got like another 3 inches, like 3 to 5 inches. We did get snow. We did. And I laugh about the salary cap because you have so many people, and so many people are supposed to be perceived experts in the field, and references to beat writers, and of course all the wonderful all the wonderful content creators. Talking about how the Giants could have anywhere between $100 million to like $68 million. And I love it because there's even a potential that they could just restructure the entire contract of. I love that there was someone that put out there, I have a way that the Giants can save all this cap money without cutting anybody. So in my own stupid fashion, I was like, well, there must be some brilliance behind this. And no, there wasn't. It was mired in the fact that you couldn't do half the things that this person wanted to do. And I'm laughing because I'm saying, this person wants to do this, and this person's supposed to be an expert. This person's supposed to have knowledge. And it's what made me write the article on that wonderful new website, NewYorkGiantsLive.com, about the salary cap and how it actually works. There is potential for the Giants to have, we have been saying the Giants right now could have anywhere between 28 to 30-something million dollars in salary cap space. And there's some moves they can make. There's some things that they can do that could move the money as high as, I would say, as high as 60-something million. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers because of the fact that we don't have the exact numbers yet, because I don't have the numbers yet for the entire fiscal end of the season. I know about the $6.1 million in rollover money. I understand that. I understand some of the bonuses coming off the book. A lot of websites, these venerable websites, have it anywhere between like 20-something million, like 22 million and 26 million. I'm coming in a little, I mean, looking at some of the contracts, I'm coming in a little bit or more around 30. But there's a way that the Giants could have, there are ways that the Giants could have at least 60-something million in cap space. There are. But the problem is when you're doing something such as that, at the end of the day, you have to remember when you remove these players, you're removing players off the roster that you need to replace. And if you allow the likes of Isaiah Simmons, Adoree Jackson, Xavier McKinney, Saquon Barkley, or Tyrod Taylor, or Matt Breida, or hell, even Paris Campbell to walk, you have to replace those players with somebody else. So if you have a placeholder salary for Saquon Barkley at $10 million, let's say, that $10 million is gone, but you're not saving $10 million because Saquon Barkley's contract doesn't count against 2024 because, wait for it, a pause, a dramatic césure, he's not under contract. He doesn't have a contract with the team. So that money people think they're saving, you're not saving because there's no money to save because he doesn't have a contract. It's one of those things that you go, interesting. But these are the experts. These are the people that we need to listen to. This is why I started writing again. Because I was like, if this is what the experts are doing, this is what the experts are saying, and this is what these people are doing, hell, I could probably do better. And go find the original articles on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Watch all live streams, read all the articles, view all the videos on YouTube. We're also going to have a section where I'm going to pick and choose certain content creators that I like, and I'm working with some of them and put their stuff on the site as well. So go take a look. Great article today about Baker Mayfield being worth $1.4 billion compared to Daniel Jones. Now, so many people, I've already got a couple comments about it, and people are like, well, this is just stupid. I was like, did you read below the byline where it says satire? Guys, this is what we live with. Did you get any snow? Yeah, we got about 3 to 5 inches. Good morning to Mr. Weaver. What's going on, Tim? Did you get a hot cup of Joe? Of course. Big Blue says, forever, great hair day. Yes, I'm actually having a very good hair day. I had to, people are like, you've been wearing a hat a lot recently. What's the matter? You on bald or something? No, exact opposite. I'm growing too much hair. My barber, I should rephrase that. My stylist, he moved back in beginning of January. So I haven't had a haircut since January. So literally, I had to wear a hat because I could take my hair and pull it down to here. That's how much hair I had. So I finally went back to my old guy, but I had to drive like an hour to go see him. Admiral Tumbo says, Tim, what's your dream car? My dream car is whatever I drive. Because of the fact that, you know what? It's what you like. My dream car would I don't know. I don't know what my dream car would be. I don't think I have a dream car. The best car that I ever had that I loved was my Challenger. I had a all blacked out Challenger with white seats. Oh, that car was just like, that car was pimp. I mean, that car was black rims, black everything. It was called the rooftop package. And then I got the racing seats, and inside the racing seats, they have they were just all white. It's awesome. Todd Taylor says, what's goofs never think about? We can't play with 38 guys. This is what I was getting to. You're right. They're all like, we're going to sign this guy. We're going to bring in this guy. We're going to bring in this guy. We're going to bring back this guy. We're going to bring back this guy. Great. If you do all this, that's like, someone put it on Twitter. We should go sign Josh Allen. The Josh Allen we should have drafted instead of Daniel Jones. And I was like, and they're like, does anyone think that's a good idea? I said, I think that's a great idea if you only want to play with 38 guys on the roster. This team needs so much. You're not all going to get it through the draft. Your other draft picks, probably good portion of them aren't going to pan out. Your free agents haven't panned out. You already have a problem. You already think you have a problem at the right tackle position, both guard positions. Right now, you don't have a running back. Right now, you need at least 2 wide receivers. You need a quarterback, but we're not even going to get into that today. And so that's just all you need on offense. Oh, and a tight end, and a good starting tight end. And on defense, with this new guy coming in, he likes to play a lot of 4-man fronts. So you're going to need at least another defensive tackle. You're going to at least need a true defensive end, because we haven't had true defensive end since JPP. And I want to hear Jihadi Ward. don't even go there with me, please. We haven't had a true defensive end since JPP. You're going to need at least another 1 to 2 linebackers, potentially 2 safeties, 1 safety definitely. You're going to need definitely a corner, because you're not bringing back a Dory Jackson. And that's all you need on defense. And depth. We have no depth, but that's besides the point. But that's all you're going to need. So you can't take your 60-something million and commit 20 of it to Josh Allen when you already have an absurd amount already slotted for Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, and Dexter Lawrence? You take a look at the fact that you have $47 million right now allocated to Daniel Jones, right? And you have another 45 allocated to Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas. You have $92 million of your cap, of your $248 million cap, dedicated to two guys. And then you bring in the fact that you have another 25 sitting there allocated to Bobby Okereke and Darren Waller. So out of that 94, you add another 25, you have $119 million already out of your $248 million already allocated on 5 guys. You don't understand. And maybe it is Kevin Abrams. Maybe it is all that. I don't know. Whoever's running the fucking cap. But we're making the same cap mistakes over and over again. I would be excited if we made a different cap mistake. I'd be like, well, that was different. I would be more excited if we did that. But no, we make the same mistakes over and over again. New estimate from Over the Cap. Over the Cap is junk. Over the Cap is junk. Don't ever go to Over the Cap. They are officially junk. If you want, there's another one. It's not Over the Cap. I can't think of the name, but they're pretty good. They're all right. I can't think of what the name is. Todd Taylor said, hey, Jimmy G got suspended for Viagra use. Did he really get suspended for Viagra use? I know he got suspended for 2 games because of for peds. Boy, I am having a kick in here today. Joe Rev, good morning, fellas. Joe, no hat today, so you can't watch come. Big Chris says, Tim, who would be your priority to retain from this current roster? I think it should be McKinney first and Barkley second. McKinney played 100% of the snaps. He had a pass rusher ranking of 87.7 from according to the Venerable Pro Football Focus. He is probably going to he is definitely within the top 5 safeties of the entire league. You figure on the low end, you look at you would look at the low end salary wise, I would think around 10 million. And I would think on the high end, he may want up to 14. I never go with these people like, well, the market value is whatever somebody wants to pay. Eddie Jackson got 14 million. Marcus Williams got 14 million. Marcus Epps got 6, I think. There was another guy in between there. I can't remember who it is, but he got 10 million. So you figure the floor is 10, the ceiling's 14. You'd probably have to do a 5-year deal minimum, because you're gonna have to, and it wouldn't be a 5-year deal. It would be a 5-year deal, which is really a 3-year deal with no guaranteed money after the 3rd year. He made $2 million last year. It's a big nut to swallow, and it's going to be a big nut to swallow. You could make it palatable this year and probably come in at $6-7 million, which is still going to be a $4 million raise from what he got. Your bonus money is going to have to be spread out. It's going to be hard to bring Xavier back. I think people understand his value in regards to not only being a safety, but also being a guy you can play in the box. So he can be that quasi safety linebacker. So I think there's going to be, and he's 24 years old. He's got at least another good 6 years in him, at least a minimum. It's going to be hard to bring him back. It's really good. It's really going to be hard to bring back Xavier McKinney unless he gives us a home team discount. I don't want anything to do with Isaiah Simmons. I don't want to touch Isaiah Simmons with any type of poll. I would agree you would need to bring back Barkley, and I would agree that you would, especially at the fact that I don't go with the fodder that's out there right now that, the Giants aren't going to draft a quarterback. And if they draft a quarterback, you're going to need a running back, but you got a 27-year-old running back who's been in the league now for 5 years, 6 years now. Made a little over 10 last year. It's hard to give him more. It's hard to give him more than a 3-year deal. And again, I would only have the first 2 years guaranteed, or I would have less guaranteed money in the second. You look at the likes of, let's see, Taylor. I know Jonathan Taylor makes 14. I think Aaron Jones makes around 12. Then you have like Connors, and I think James Conner is the next, like at 7. These guys are all under 26, or they're at 26. Yeah, it's a tough. I mean, like I said, if I could bring Barkley, and I don't know if he would do it, but I think he would make. If I could give Barkley a 3-year deal, maybe like around 35, have his cap number around 7 this year, combined with some bonus, add a little bit more extra cap money into next season, and then make year 3 voidable. I think that would be palatable for the cap. I think that would be a palatable way to get the cap. So if you could do that, and if you could bring him in, like I said, this year's cap around 7, and if you could figure out a way to get McKinney in the kind of same area, anywhere between the 7 to 9. Let's just make it. Let's just go on the high end at 9. So you're going to commit 16 million of your cap to this, and let's say we have that. Let's just say we do everything we need to do, and let's say we make it 60 million. Let's just say we do that. So if you do that and you commit 16 to these two players, you only have 44 million left, not counting the rookie pool. And everyone needs to remember that while the rookie pool may be like 11 million, let's just say, it's not really 11 million. It's like 4 million, because of the fact that only the first couple rounds are guaranteed. So that money does not become guaranteed until they hit the cap. So they come on to the books. But still, so let's say your rookie pool is 11, 4 of that's guaranteed. Let's say 5 is guaranteed. That takes you down to 35 million. And you have to help all your rookies make the team. So if I'm going to prioritize it, I probably would go Barkley first, because of the fact that he is the offense, and the team understands that. And ask Kayvon Thibodeau. And then I would definitely go McKinney. I would like I said, I would try to make a deal for Adoree Jackson, but I don't see that happening. I don't see Adoree at 28 years old want to stay with the Giants. He's not going to get Jalen Ramsey money, who gets like 18 million a year, or Xavier, what's his name, Howard, who also gets like 18 million. But I could see McKinney coming in. I could see him coming in at, around 11, 13 million. And again, like I said, if you already have the money tied in the first 2 and you're already at 44 million, and then you subtract that, so you're already down into the 20s. I mean, you're already down into the low 30s. So, and all you've brought in is your first 3 picks. And don't forget, we have 2 second rounders. So that's going to be interesting as well. We have to watch that money, because you still have that second rounder is going to get guaranteed money right off the bat. We have 2 second rounders. So you're probably going to have to let Adoree walk. And I would let Xavier McKinney walk. I'd fucking not Xavier McKinney. I would let Isaiah Simmons walk. Hell, I let Isaiah Simmons fucking run out of the building. Antonio Weaver says, don't worry, let's make a big splash. Let's get one splash up the wines a year, maybe even better. Let's go and washed up. Why not? Remember Kyle Rudolph? Everyone was like, Kyle Rudolph's gonna be so fucking awesome, man. So fucking awesome. Look how he was in Minnesota. And then there was a dumbass who sat here and said, nope, he's washed up. Watch the last 2 years in Minnesota. You could see he's washed up. But all right, we went out and signed him. Then he was injured. Could have got the deal. No. We just restructured that deal. To protect one says, Joe signed a bunch of Gettleman guys, made them his guys, and now they're strapped for cash. We've talked about that, especially with Daniel Jones. The moment that the ink dried on the Daniel Jones's contract, don't forget to hit the like button, guys. The moment the ink dried, that was no longer a Gettleman guy. That was a Shane guy. Same thing, because that's just the way it is, because of the fact that he brought him back. And I've said this before, I don't mind the money he gave to Lawrence. I don't mind the money he gave to Thomas. I wish he just would have spaced it out differently, because all these contracts are going to mature at the same time, which is going to be bad. Matthew, good morning. Good morning, OBB fans. Family, what's going on? Yeah, we are family. We are family. What's up, my brother? Good morning. We need 2 corners. Shite. Well, you're definitely need the replacement for Dory Jackson. You're gonna have to hope that Banks fills into the CB1 spot, and it was not a product of the Wink system. You have to hope that a little bit with some of the other players as well, because this is going to be a totally different defensive system, guys. This is going to be I watched a lot of Tennessee games. I've said this because, I'm a Malik Willis fan. I love people, though, still. I love people when I did my quarterback videos. They're like, I love it because they're like, well, we're not going to listen to you because you liked Malik Willis. So every analyst that likes someone and they didn't pan out, you don't listen to them. So anyone that liked, the abundance of people that like to like Jamari Russell and Akebe Smith and and all these other players, Ryan Leaf, that didn't pan out, you don't listen to them then. And I'm still not even wrong yet. And I love it because I even brought up to one guy, said, but you're defending Daniel Jones for 5 years now. Stupid as a stupid does, Mrs. Blue. What else we got here? Joe took the money salary cap out back and shot it when he signed Daniel Jones. Now they won't be able to field a competitive team. It's going to be difficult. But don't worry. In the infancy of free agency and the draft, any player, we go to Twitter if you want to feel. I'm going to tell you what to do. Protects one. I'm going to tell you what to do. In the infancy of free agency and the draft, any player that we sign or we draft, automatically just go to Twitter. And it'll make you feel better, because it will be the greatest fucking signing we have ever had. Every player. It's amazing. It is truly amazing with Giant social media. Any player we bring in, it is the greatest player ever. And then they don't pan out. And I bring up things that probably won't pan out, and I'm the asshole. But no one ever comes back. We got the big old super chat from Big Old Don saying, I would trade a 5th for Malik Willis right now. I don't think I would too, actually. Tennessee's not getting rid of him. Tennessee is not going to get rid of him because he is going into year 3 at Tennessee. I love it because people are like, well, he's, Daniel Jones has all these offensive coordinators. Well, Malik Willis is not going to have his 3rd new offensive coordinator. But hey, you know what? We can make excuses for one guy. They don't apply to the other. The hell is wrong with people? Daniel Jones doesn't have an offensive line. We have to give him year 6. Saquon Barkley's running behind the same offensive line, but it doesn't matter. He sucks. Makes your head hurt. That's what it does. Where are we here? Let's see here. Let's see here. I saw a couple I wanted to get to, and I had to jump down. Hold on. Let's see here. Craig says Giants need at least a top 15 offense and a top 20 defense. Listen, you can have. I'm going to tell you something right now. Defensive rankings when you're in the middle of the pack is just a misconception. Let's be honest. If you are anywhere in, let's say you have a top 20 to top, let's say you have a top 18 offense. A lot of times those levels between 18 and 6 are very minute in reference to points allowed, yardage allowed, interceptions, turnovers. Though there's not much of a difference. Same thing with offense. If you have a top 20 offense, you don't go below that Mendoza line, you are not much different than the top 10 offense. Because of the fact, again, it's susceptible to, or it's all figures. It's all numbers. That's all it is. And sometimes your numbers don't show everything. I love it before. I've seen offenses that go. I've seen teams that go 11-5, but their offense is ranked like 30, not 30. Let's say they're ranked like 23rd, and they look at it and go, well, they've only scored 19 points a game. But then you look at their time of possession and how many plays they've run, and then if you extrapolate that out to, like, if you take one of the top offenses that maybe have run 200-300 more plays the entire season, and you extrapolate out the two, they're almost identical. Go check it out. Go look it up. Good question. Let's TG1. Hey, Tim, it's a top 3 quarterback are gone. Alt was 6. Leggett and Spencer Rattler. No Rattler in the second. No Rattler in the second. No. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Spencer Rattler in the second. Maybe the third, maybe the fourth. Rattler has all the physical attributes, all the intangibles, but he's a knucklehead. And you have to harness the knuckleheadedness. There was the show QB1 on Netflix. Everyone tells me to watch. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. And they kind of shown what he was going back to Oklahoma. He's got all the talent. You know what I would rather do? I would rather take Joe Milton. Joe Milton, a little bit older. Joe Milton, same physical attributes, actually taller. I think now Rattler's got a good arm, but what Rattler's big attributes, I would say, is his quick release. He's got that quick release. He's got that Don Marino type release. And he's got a big arm. Joe Milton just got a big arm. Big kid. He's not going to run as much, neither is Rattler, but he's got a big arm. He's got that big time arm, but the problem is he was in Tennessee, he was in a one-read offense. Same with Rattler. So I'd rather have a kid that's got a little bit more lacking of the nuttiness and bring him. Now, people are going to say, well, Tim, you would say you would draft Caleb Williams, and he wore a dress. He had on nails. He had this. Yeah, but he's also got all-world talent. He also won a Heisman. He was also on one of the biggest programs of all college. A little bit different. And I've said it before. I don't care if he wears a dress. Don't care. I don't care when the players, if you go to the coaches club in the stadium in MetLife, the entrance is where the players walk into the locker room. So they actually have to walk past the coaches club. I don't care if he's wearing a dress. I don't care if we draft him and he's wearing a dress walking down that hallway. Don't care. As long as he puts up points, as long as he does the things that he did in college and does it on the pro level, people like, he's a diva. Don't care. You want to be a diva? You know what the greatest thing in the world is? You could be a diva if you succeed. If he comes in his first year or two and he comes in with the understanding that he needs to learn. I always go back to the movie Bull Durham with Crash Davis. Nuke LaLoosh has fungus on his shower shoes. And Crash tells him, you have fungus on your shower shoes. He goes, you can win 20 in the game. You win 20 in the show. You can have fungus on your shower shoes and they'll think you're colorful. He goes, but in the minors, it just makes you a slob. So if he comes in with the opinion that he is going to work and do what needs to be done to make himself better and make himself a pro, and then does his nuttiness, then I'm all good. Then I'm good. I'm fine. I don't care what he does. Really don't care. I've said it a million. I said it with Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau came in with all the bluster. I'm going to get a soccer game. Didn't work out the first season. Then he comes back year 2, has a bad 3 games in a row in the beginning. People forget this because people's minds, we've said it before, the mind's eye wanders as you become more distant from something. We sit there. People forget he basically bashed the fans in week 3. Kayvon Thibodeau did. Then he had a little bit of a run. Went 6 other games without getting a sack, and he's kind of going after the fan base again. You want to be colorful, be successful. That's all I'm saying. What's up with the big old Don Super Chat? Big Don says, him, I believe, humiliation, rituals for fame and money. Caleb is going to be a stud, but he did his rituals early. And I love when people are like, well, he's a crybaby. He cried. He's a crybaby. He cried to his mommy. These are fools that never did anything with their life in reference to sports. They don't understand that you work from Pop Warner to college. And one of the things that Caleb wanted to do was be on the stage for a national title. And that last game of the season not only basically ended his college career, ended all title hopes, ended all Heisman hopes, everything that he had worked for as an 8-year-old up to that pinnacle of that moment ended. It's done. No more. You did not achieve everything you wanted to achieve in that moment in time. You didn't. So as a person that, as a young person, he was upset about it. And he has a very tight relationship with his mother and his father. So the people that sit there go, well, he cried. Look at yourself in the mirror, because you have probably never done anything at that level and then had it basically taken away from you. And a lot of it's not your fault, because their defense was Swiss cheese. Offensive line was Swiss cheese, or defense was Swiss cheese. USC last year. So I have no problem with him crying. No problem whatsoever about it. Doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is more people are going to sit there and chastise him for it when they can look in the mirror and say they had never done anything to the level that he has done it at. Things that make you go, let's see here. I want to make sure I get back to Caleb or bust. Hey, what's up, Big Greg? Caleb or bust. Caleb reminds me of the brunch reminds me of Beverly Hills Cop. We're not gonna throw everyone over the brunch though. Let's see here. Giants 34 says, I think we should stop trying to build a team to win pointless games and really start over trading some of these guys for picks. Build the team right. We can't. I wish we could. We are in the infancy of these contracts. You can't trade them. You can trade them. Yes, you're going to take a damaging cap hit this year. But you can't trade them, but you can't. Joe Shane and Brian Dable, they need to win. They need to win. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Year 3 needs to be a winning season. It's not going to be, but it needs to be a winning season, because one of them is going to lose their job. I don't know who, and don't forget to hit the like. I don't know who's going to lose their job, but one of you guys is going to lose your job. Just saying. T-Brad says, pause. What's up, Big Greg? Zach Texas, Mel Kiper hasn't retired since promising to retire in 2000 if Jimmy Clausen hasn't panned out. Good point, Zach Attack. Caleb or bust. James says, just to state facts, the jury is out on Malik Willis. I had no idea what he is, but we know exactly what Danny Duds is. You're right. But it's okay, though, because it's easier for people to say, I love that, because people think they hurt me with that. Oh, you got Malik Willis wrong. I always come back and say, well, what else did I get right? And then they just disappear. And then I love the people that write it all in capital letters, because I already told people, if you're writing all this in capital letters, you need to seek psychiatric help, because there's something very wrong with you. Let's see here. Let's see here. They should move DJ to tight end. His blocking is suspect, though. His passing suspect as well. I love this. Zach Attack dropping the Jimmy Clausen reference. That's a good Jimmy Clausen reference. Oh, the old quarterback out of Notre Dame. Let's see. What about all the people that thought what Brady Quinn was going to have a stellar career? What happened to those people? What are those people that thought Johnny Manziel was going to be awesome? Matthew says, I still can't wrap my head around people that think we need to keep DJ around and make it work with him. After 5 years, they think Brian Urlacher, bless his heart, came out the other day and said, if you do not know whether Justin Fields is your guy in year 3, it's time to get rid of him. We're quadrupling down on DJ in year 6. Johnny Rico. The Giants need to clear cap. It's like nobody's business. The issue is how the contracts are laid out, and if we do it, it's going to be painful. That's the problem. If you got to look at it that way, that's the problem. And Johnny, that's what smart fans do. And you don't have to be a capologist to be a smart fan. You don't. You really don't. Because the salary cap is not something that is easy to figure out. People are always like, well, Tim, how do you figure it out? And how are you, 99% of the time right about the salary cap? How do you predict these things with the salary cap? And I love it because I had someone DM me yesterday. They wanted me to do an article about how I predicted the salary cap last year and how we were going to run out of money by mid-season. And I always tell people the same thing. I don't invent math. I look at the numbers. I got a little spreadsheet. I look at the numbers. I project out because you got to remember, each game in some regards is a salary cap because you're moving men off the practice squad. You got people that aren't playing. You got people on the IR. So you have to look at it always. So what you need to do is you have to remember each salary is X for each individual game. So you track it that way. And then when you track it that way, you can extrapolate it out by using a couple formulas and using some projections, and you could figure out what's going to happen. So it's not like it's this, it is Howie Rosen's got it. He's got it locked down. He's got it tight like like a duck's butt, airtight. He knows what he's doing. I haven't seen anyone say Daniel Jones would be a bargain. Address how much the bargain is now. It's not. It was never a bargain. The day we signed him, that was never a bargain. Some of us pointed that out. Matthew says we need to trade up for Caleb or Jaden, draft O-line and running back. If you trade up for Caleb or if you trade up for Williams and you trade out of 6, you're going to forfeit one of those 2s. Right off the bat, you're going to have to forfeit. You're going to have to give up your 1 this year, your 1 next year, one of the 2s this year, and probably a 3 and a 5 next year, I would say. Or maybe a 5 this year and a 3 next year. That's probably what you're going to have to give up to jump up to that spot. And that's fine. But you are, like I said, you are going to still have to address the offensive line. And I agree. And if you're bringing in the rookie, the biggest issue is going to be you're going to have that quarterback bucket cap number, which we always talked about, is going to be extremely high this year. And it's going to probably preclude you from bringing in a high-quality running back unless Saquon Barkley comes in and kind of does a Bobby Bonilla deal where he keeps getting paid for like the next 47 years. Greg says, what does Greg say? Greg says, arguably, if Saquon had a competent offensive line, he would be the best running back ever. I don't think he would be the best running back ever. I think he would probably be in the top 10 of the articles of running back history. Barkley has gone into a terrible situation. And it's amazing that if you look at the fact, his best season is his rookie season, and he's had a serendipitous drop-off ever since then. And there's like a common denominator, a common equation with that. I keep thinking who was the quarterback during his rookie season. I can't remember. Then I keep remembering who was the quarterback after his rookie season. I don't know. There's some kind of common equation. Daniel Jones is not only a quarterback killer. Excuse me. Well, he's a quarterback killer. He's not only a coach killer. He is a running back killer, and he is an offensive line killer, and he is a wide receiver killer and a tight end killer. Ask the likes of Evan Ingram, Golden Tate, and Darren Waller. I love the bit with Chris Farley when he does the interviews on Saturday Night Live and he's interviewing Paul McCartney. He's always like, do you remember when you were like in the Beatles? I always like to sit there. I just think about mine and I go, do you remember when Giant fans, like after the Dallas game, thought Kadarius Toney was the best wide receiver ever? Do you remember that? No, a lot of people forgot all about that. James says, okay, so that's a no to the Rattler. No, that is a no to the Rattler. Matthew says, I'd rather pick J.J. McCarthy early and wait till the later rounds. You know what? I don't have a problem picking J.J. McCarthy if you're going to use one of the seconds or a third. Don't have a problem with it because you don't know what he is. How many times we talked about it? Hit the like. How many times we talked about it? 659 passes over 3 seasons in Michigan. Does he have the physical attributes? Yes. Does he have the arm strength? I think his arm strength is NFL average. But we don't know because we don't know exactly what he has. We're going to need to see the combine. We're going to need to see his pro day to see what his actual physical attributes are. But I would take JJ. I would take a fly. I would not. It's not even a flyer, but I would take JJ in one of my seconds or the third round. I would not take him in the first round. I wouldn't even sniff him in the first round. If someone wants to take him in the first round, you go right ahead. We need to see what we have in Oh, Gaiman, we do need to see what we have in DJ because going into year 6, we got no freaking clue. We got no clue. None whatsoever. Year 6. I mean, can we just, I mean, and I know that people think I'm harping on this, but can we think about this for a second? Year 6. We are going in year 6 and people are still saying, or his fans are still saying, well, we don't know what we have in him. It's year 6. We're not going to know unless he gets an offensive line or gets this. Or it's year 6. How do you not know what you have somebody when you're in year 6? Most people get rid of their quarterbacks after year 3. Hell, some of these people get rid of their quarterbacks after year 2. But we still have to sit there and say, he's had 2 neck injuries. He's had a knee injury. What is going on there? Hold on here. What's going on here? Hold on here. Oh, okay. 2 neck injuries, a knee injury in the last 3 years, and has had 1 healthy season his entire career. But we don't know what we have. You know what I have? A fucking headache. That's what I have from having to hear this. What's up, Jay Sports Cards? Tim, we need to hire the O-line. Tim, we need to hire for an O-line scout. Maybe you could get some mid-round guys to be starters and develop a good offensive line back in Eli's prime. Oh, no. That, no. No, I would fuck things up. I would screw things up. I would screw things up miserably. Listen, I've been in NFL offices. You know, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot that goes into picking guys, and I always tell people I'm giving an opinion. You know, these guys are professionals at their jobs. You know, I appreciate that, but no, I would mess things up so badly. Eric Butler says Daniel Jones has Elway's arms, Vic's legs, Mahomes' creativity, Brady-like processing. He just needs 5 All-Pro linemen, Pro Bowl level wide receivers, and a future Hall of Famer tight end. If you can see. Oh, Eric, I love it. Milton lets the FSU quarterback sit for 1 year, heal, and with a cheaper offensive line. You mean not Milton, the other kid, the kid from FSU. He's another one's been in the league for a while. Matthew says Caleb can be a quarterback in a dress, and it would be better than Daniel Jones still has once. You know, it's funny. I think it's true. I think you're right. He could be a quarterback in a dress, and I'd still like him better than Daniel Jones. He could wear the dress on the field. I would still like him better than Daniel. I've already said that this is how badly I want a different quarterback. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix. I would take them all over Daniel Jones right now. The Giants could draft one of those 4 guys. People are like, well, Tim, you must have a favorite. Nope. You draft one of those 4. I renew my season tickets. You do something stupid like take another offensive lineman in the first round or a wide receiver who doesn't have a quarterback to throw to, then I'm not giving my season tickets back. I would rather have J.J. McCarthy over Radler. His ceiling seems higher. Radler, I think, will probably make more of a splash immediately because he's been in college football forever. I believe he's been in college since Daniel Jones came in the league in 19. And I like JJ's. The JJ's the unknown. JJ is like when you go buy a blind pack of sports cards or something. It's the unknown. And I like that. And so you don't know what you're going to have. You don't know what you're not going to have. But if the physical attributes and physical talents are there and they're on display. Now, I don't want to pull a Mike Mamula at the combine. I don't want to have a combine hero, combine warrior, but I want to see the physical attributes because you saw he could play at Michigan. His limit at 659 passes in 3 years. You saw he could play, but can he extrapolate that over 600 passes or 550 passes in a season in the pros? T-Brad goes, hey, I like Sam Hartman. You like Sam Hartman you like Sam Hartman 2 years ago. Sam Hartman, man, that's Sam Hartman should be a cautionary tale for anyone that wants to go into the transfer portal. Sam Hartman probably would have been taken in the lower half of the first round last year. He wanted to up his stock by going to a major university and showing what he can do, and he got exposed. So that is if he's in the third or fourth round, I'd be shocked. Gaiman says if Daniel Jones had a perfect offensive lineman and wide receiver coordinator, oh my God, that would be so good. Hirsch for reals in his house. Matthew says Eric DJ, Stevie Wonder, Field Vision, Forrest Gump running building. Well, first of all, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump was the fastest runner that Bear Bryant ever saw. That's why he put him on the field. Coming out of Greenbow, Alabama. Let's say School Scooter says, hey, Tim, the reason you don't hear from the people that who say you were wrong about certain things is because you block them. You're a total narcissist. I don't block anybody. And I'm actually not a narcissist. I'm cocky and arrogant. So, and I don't block anyone on anything. I ban people. I
get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I wonka people. Like you just got wonked, because majority of those times when you say something stupid, you get wonked. Not a narcissist. You need to look up the definition of a narcissist. I'm arrogant, cocky, boisterous, brash. I admit I'm all those things, but also all those things made me successful. You know what they say? They say I'm cocky. And I say what? It ain't bragging, mother effer, if you back it up. Thank you, Kid Rock. What's up, OG? Tim, what's up? We get Justin Fields from Chicago. Oh, I'd love we get Justin Fields from Chicago. I know there's some people that are like, well, no, you can't do that because, you're going to be in the same scenario in year 4 with him. You're going to have to make that decision in year 5 with his contract. No, you don't. If he plays well in year 4, then you just pick up the 5th-year option. He falls flat on his face in year 4, and you don't want him anymore, you don't pick up the 5th-year option. So it costs you a pick. But if you are not going to be bold and have mighty forces come to your aid, what happens then? Think about that. You could get a guy maybe for I know they're saying a first. I don't think you're not going to get a first, Justin. You'd maybe get a 3rd and a 6th. I'd give him a 3rd and a 6th. And if he flames out in year 4 and doesn't show any progression, I don't pick up the option in year 5. And I'm going to be in the same boat I was before but the boat anchor of the Daniel Jones contract is only a $22 million cap hit unless they do something stupid and extend the money. What's up, says Hirsch for real. Hirsch, Jaden Daniels has the highest ceiling of any quarterbacks in the draft. Jaden Daniels' biggest problem is his size. That's his biggest issue. Talent's undeniable. The ability is undeniable. The arm strength is undeniable. The creativity is undeniable. If he was the same size as Caleb, and we don't know what these guys' sizes are yet. We're going to have to wait till the measurements come out. But if he was at the same size as Caleb, he would probably be in consideration for the top number 1 overall pick. Matthew says, oh, gee, then we have Daniel Jones and what Daniel Jones is supposed to be. Protect says, the crying thing doesn't bother me. The wearing of the dress and the paint and fingernails is weird, but I'm more concerned about his ability to read defenses. I think he gets happy feet. I don't think he gets happy feet. The offensive line last year was really bad for USC. Very bad. It was very bad. I think what happened was I think he tries to do too much. And I think his biggest issue this year compared to 2 years ago is he didn't try to do as much. He played with
That's what she said.
He played within himself. My wife just sent me a message about being a narcissist. It's kind of funny. I can't read it though. If he does, it's why I love my wife. I don't know. I'll go to my next question now because now I got distracted. Herschel Real says Daniel Jones is a one-read quarterback. Unfortunately, his one read is the Wall Street Journal. Eric says Matt Zach was Stevie Wonder, has eagle vision. Let's see. Jared says my Commanders are drafting Jaden Daniels and taking over the division. Listen, Jared Taylor. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I am concerned that Washington's going to get a quarterback. I am monumentally concerned you guys are going to get a quarterback. Monumentally. Let's say you get Jaden Daniels. Then we're in the division with Hurts, Prescott, and Daniels. And we have Daniel Jones. I am scared. Washington is taking a quarterback. It scares the bejesus out of me. Eric says, not to mention Forrest Gump can run. Shaq said he sprints, he runs like a 4.3 40. Matthew says, I am good with that. We still have another 6 or 7 picks this year. I agree. Joe Rev says, dudes, this was the dudes. There was a post on Facebook comparing Joe Sims. Oh, I saw that. I didn't see that. I saw that Phil Sims came out and said, well, I didn't become a good quarterback till year 5. And I love Phil Sims. I have the full life size. I had the full size autographed right there. Yeah, it's right there. I had the full size autograph helmet of Phil Sims right there. Phil Sims also seems to forget he was second in Rookie of the Year balloting his first year in '79. O.J. Anderson won it. He was leading the team to the playoffs in '81 before he got hurt, and Scott Bruno went on that miracle run. He got benched vis-a-vis stupidity during that strike season. Which was in 82. 83, Parcells talked about it. He almost got himself fired by going with Bruner instead of going with Phil Sims. And then 84. Phil Sims' biggest issue was not talent in his ability to play. His biggest issue was staying on the field and not getting benched vis-a-vis stupidity. That was his biggest issue. Herschel says, Jaden stock will only rise during the combine and the pro days. Oh, I agree. Matthew says, can we trade DJ to the Redskins, or could we still have cap? No, we would be destroyed in the cap if we traded DJ. If we traded DJ this year, we'd be destroyed. We would literally be destroyed in the cap. Hirsch says, we are stuck with DJ for the upcoming season. Unfortunately, everyone's like, well, DJ's coming back. Well, no shit. You got a $68 million dead cap number that says he's coming back. You could draft in consecutive order Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May, and Daniel Jones would still be back. Eric says, Matt, don't forget Jones has the arm talent of Uncle Rico. Listen, man, if Uncle Rico could have built that time machine and went back to that championship game in high school, you know he would be a pros. Let's see. Greg says, Tim with Kadarius Toney shades. Admittedly, I was one of them, but he was too. Yeah, you were one of them, Greg. And I love that you come up and you actually mention it because you got the balls, man. That's why I love Greg. Matt says, my wife is the only person who I call a commander. Oh my God. Let's see. Hirsch is saying indeed. Let's see here. Matthew says, I'm seriously considering becoming a Bucks fan if DJ isn't gone in 2024. Chris also says, never mind the fans who say we don't what DJ is. But what about the alleged smart people in the room? Mayor Shane and Dable, what are they smoking? Maui Wowie or Panama Red would be my guess right off the bat. Zach says, who should we target in round 3 and 7? You know, and I like when people, always like that question because it's a question you can't answer. Because you could target anybody. What the problem are they going to be there? That's why these that's why I don't do mock drafts. Mock drafts are silly. Mock drafts these are the hyperboles that could potentially happen. And they're just silly because of the fact that you don't know. You got no clue. I guess they're fun to do. I guess they're fun to watch because you have people that make 907. I love it when people go mock draft 1. Then like 4 days later, it's like mock draft 2. Then you're up to mock draft 23. Matthew said, who am I targeting around 3 and 7, Zach? I wasn't trying to avoid the question. I'm going offensive line and defense in the later rounds. And I might try to grab a running back. But I can't tell you who should they target because I don't know who's going to be there. Johnny Rico says, I see Neighbors is in the first rounder, Penix in the second. Then I did Neighbors. I did a video about Neighbors about taking him at 6. I don't think Penix is going to be in the second round. If I do think he's going to be in the second round, I think he's going to go within the first 3 picks. I think he also might go in the lower half of this first. So you may have to trade back up. So you may have to take one of your firsts, not one of your first, you take one of your seconds and like a 5th and trade back in the pick 28 to 31 to grab him, or 32, I should say. I would do that. Like I said, I've said it before. I would trade out of the 6, get around 16, take the big kid out of Florida State, use the assets I had, trade back up into the first round, and take Penix in the second half of the first round. Robert says, this is all John Mara's fault. They couldn't admit they were wrong about Daniel Jones. Yeah, you're right. Wish you were wrong. Let's see here. I don't believe in drafting wide receivers or running backs in the first round. I don't believe in taking a running back in the first round. I do believe in taking a wide receiver. I do not believe in taking a tight end in the first round. I don't believe in taking a safety in the first round, high in the first round. If you want to talk about lower half in the draft between 17 and 32, wide receiver, safety, I would take in between there. But unless there is a wide receiver that you think has the Jerry Rice or Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't have a problem taking him at 6. OG says, if they don't draft a quarterback, get a free agent veteran quarterback. I already said you got to go and get the porn stash. Hirschfield says, we need to bang the drums for a quarterback at 6, and we need to be relentless about it. We have been. Greg said, Tim doesn't block anyone. We have disagreements all the time, but that's what makes this channel amazing. That's what bugs me. That's what bugs me about that comment. I don't care about being called a narcissist. I've been called a lot of things. Sexy, intelligent, dashing. Being a narcissist doesn't bother me. If someone called me a narcissist, doesn't bother me. What bothers me is someone thinks I block people. That bothers me. I think this is the same fool that told me that, well, you didn't answer my comment because you blocked it. No, YouTube blocked it because you wrote some things that were bad. YouTube has a filter that if you use derogatory language, foul language, and other things that they find offensive, they automatically block your comment and put it into the comments that I need to approve. The problem is I'm lazy. So I don't go to the section on YouTube that says approve comments. And then they have another section on YouTube that says, wait, you know what? I'm going to go to YouTube right now. Hold on. I'm going to tell you where it's at. So you go to the comment section, because I don't even know. You go to the comment. It's held for review. And then you have these comments that YouTube automatically holds for review for 60 days. And I actually have, oh, dear Lord. I got a lot of them. I got like 30 comments in here. And then they have, if you go to the next button, it says potentially offensive. So when you write something like that, YouTube automatically pulls it and deletes it, or puts it in this thing till I go and approve it. I try to answer the majority of the comments that I get, but I'm not going to go out of my way, because like I said, I'm lazy, to go into this other tab to go through comments that are either deemed offensive or have been blocked by YouTube or held for review. I'm not going to do that. That's way too much effort. If Zach, the official producer of the Online Big Blue Show, would do it, then I'll let him do it. Mr. McCormick says, trivia question, how many Giants MVPs have they ever had? That is a loaded question, because Chuck and Charlie Conley technically won 2 MVPs, but one was a shared MVP and one was not a sports writer MVP, because there was multiple MVP awards back in his day. You also had Y.A. Tittle won an MVP, and you also have we're talking league MVPs, or are we talking defensive MVPs? Or which I should rephrase that. Which one are we talking about? Are we talking league MVPs? Because that's the question, because we've had defensive MVPs. So, and then you got to look at Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor also won an league MVP. So technically, if you want to get technical, there's 3. Charlie Conley technically won twice, but one was a sports writer award, one was a shared award, that because they didn't really have like an MVP award back in the 50s. You had Y.A. Tittle win one, and then you had Lawrence Taylor win one. I don't know if that helps. Let's see. Glenn saw a draft with the Giants passing on Penix with their second pick, and then he got picked the next pick. It felt like such a giant move. That is a giant move. League MVPs would be 3. I see the question now. League MVPs. And again, like I said, if you want to go total, technically it's 5 because Conley had 2, Tittle had 1, Lawrence Taylor had 1. Tim, you looked Tim looked like you really got pissed off about that comment. No, it wasn't the comment. It was the fact that people sitting there telling me I blocked them. I don't block anybody. And you know what the thing is? Here's the thing that always cracks me up. Here's the thing that cracks me up about it. I don't even know how to block people. That's what I love. And I'm going to say it again. I am lazy and I will not go and figure it out. I love Zach because Zach just thinks I'm as old as dirt because he goes, well, you got to have me around because you need that young influence. In some ways I do. Because how long did it take me to figure out Twitter? It was Zach that taught me that if someone tags you in a comment, you click on the comment and then you scroll and then you could see what the comment was. Because I didn't know how to get back to the comment. That what people were when they were like tagging me on something. I didn't know what I was always looking at it going, what the hell is this comment mean? I don't know what this means. I don't know what it means in context. Zach was like, well, you have to click on it, then scroll. You scroll down and it shows you the comment. I'm like, oh shit. It's like, that's how it works. No, Gifford never won an MVP. Let's see. Mr. McCormick says, I just got there. How do you address Jones for a Watson trade scenario? The Tannenbaum suggestion. It's not going to happen. Both teams are going to destroy themselves cap-wise. This is not going to happen. And this is why Tannenbaum doesn't have a job anymore. Kelvin says, if you extend Jones, that'll be my... Here's the thing, Kelvin. I'm going to talk to you about this. It's not if they extend Jones. If they restructure Jones. I don't think they're going to extend him. I think they restructure the deal and move more guaranteed money into 2025 into 2026. You got a $22 million dead cap number in 2025. You got an $11 million dead cap number 2026. If you push more money into those years, then I quit. Then they're not getting another dollar from me. Hirschreal says, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to determine we are not getting Watson. Matthew says, football contracts are stupid. They really are. I don't like this cap. I never liked the cap. T-Rad says, wide receivers traded from the Giants always get a super ruling. Oh, you got Kadarius Toney got 2. And then you had Richie James in for their 49ers. DJ says, DJ has the processing speed of a Commodore 64. I believe it's more of a Timex Sinclair. I'll let the younger group go and Google that. What do you think if Brock Purdy is in the upcoming? Do you think there's a Brock Purdy in the upcoming draft? You know what's funny? I talk about Rattler and how I wouldn't take him that high. But if you're looking at a scenario that it's in the 7th round and Rattler's still there, I would take Rattler. I think he could be Purdy-esque. I don't think he will be, but I think he could be. Because who the hell knew Brock Purdy was going to do what Brock Purdy did? Didn't he come from like North Dakota State? Isn't that the same place that Kurt Warner came from? Skyline says, hey, everyone, I'm sorry I'm late. Mr. Michael says, got to move up and draft a quarterback. I agree. Tim, look at the Xavier Levitt from South Carolina. He is a sleeper in the 2nd and 3rd round. I've actually, a lot of people have mentioned him. We got a video coming out about him next week. I'm not sure which day yet, but we do have a video coming out next week. Matthew says we need to let Saquon go, find a prototypical Bradshaw or Jacobs on the cheap, and develop them quick quarterback, fixed offensive line in the draft. I agree. Could that happen? I don't know, but I agree. Don't forget to hit the like button. I like the way you move. I like the way. Let's see. Hirsch real agrees with you. So I covered to say you're right about Jones. I tried denying it. Oh, D Coop, didn't I talk to you? Wait, D Coop, didn't I talk to you on? Did I talk to you on? Didn't I? Was it you I just talked to on Twitter or in the chat section? I cannot remember. D Coop says I came to say you were right about Jones. I tried denying it for the longest too. I don't remember if it was you, but there was a couple people in the last couple of days that actually have subscribed or resubscribed to the channel because they're like, you were right for the last 5 years. And they're like, I'm sorry. And and if it wasn't you, thank you. I appreciate it. But like I said, I was commenting back for this person and I was trying to say, you weren't really wrong about Daniel Jones. And this is what people don't get. I'm not a Daniel Jones hater. It's just the fact that I'm pointing out what the average fan should see. And I said it. I've said it. I can't remember if I said it to you or someone else. I say, you know what? It's like me. I don't change my convictions just to change my opinion, just to be right or just to be whatever. I mean, like I said, I change with the prevailing evidence, but there has to be a preponderance of evidence. It's not just like one good game. You know, I could be wrong about Daniel. He has 9 good games in a row. I could be wrong about Daniel Jones, but the body of work doesn't show that. So the fact was, D-Coop didn't change his opinion. Showed I have more respect for that because you stuck with your convictions until you reached the analysis that, yeah, this just isn't working out. So, you know what? So I appreciate that. And I don't remember, like I said, I don't remember if it was you. I don't remember if it was you, but it was someone. I literally just was talking to someone about it. Yeah, LT was a league MVP. What's up, Douglas? Hello, everyone. Hirschreal says the rebuild is not complete until both DJ and Barkley are gone. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I love Barkley. I love number 26. I have a couple 26 jerseys. I got an autographed jersey. But he's just in a no-win bad situation. And he just needs, and like I said, I hate to see him go, but for his sake and his remainder of his career, he's got to go someplace else. Matthew says, the problem is Mara threw Jones a bone. I refuse to believe otherwise. It's screwing us even more. Mara needs to be left out of the bus on the draft. Here's the thing with John Mara, and people are like, well, he got involved in Jones's contract. Yeah, he did. Because a general manager is not going to spend $160 million on a quarterback without clearing it with ownership. Was Mara the catalyst or the driving force to sign that contract? There's a good possibility. I mean, there's a good possibility he was. But at the end of the day, it's not, you have to. You're going to clear it with ownership. You're going to spend that much money, you're going to clear it with ownership, by the way. Craig says, Mara didn't throw anyone a bone. Giants have historically bad offensive line the last 5 years. My mistake since Eli. Yeah, they've had a bad offensive line since 2011. They had one of the worst offensive lines in football in 2011. Eli probably would have got himself killed if that 49er game, playoff 49er game, went into overtime or anything. And they still won, but they've been trying to address it. You've just been swinging and missing so much. Game McGraw says, I wish we waited and picked on Steve Wilkes as their defense. I said the same thing. I said, this is just such the Giant way. We go out and rush and get a guy that really kind of doesn't fit our personnel because we were built around Wink. And Steve Wilkes gets fired right after the Super Bowl. That's such a Giant way. And I love it. You come here to the Giant job as a defensive coordinator. You can't bring in any of your own staff. This is why this defensive coordinator job is so awesome for the Giants. I'm surprised all these people didn't want to take it. You can't hire your own staff because you already got most of your staff here. You can have input into signing a linebacker coach. And your players don't really fit the system you ran through 2 years and 3 years and technically 4 years in Tennessee. Because during that 2020 season, Vrabel came out and said that he was basically the quasi. He just didn't have the title. And then you had 2 years with Jim Schwartz. Your defense played exceptionally well. Then it fell back off the bus last year when Schwartz took the job over in Cleveland. Yeah, that is just such a Giant way. Stanley says, hey, Tim, why is the wide receiver class and this being so slept on? Because the wide receiver class is so deep in this year. I don't think it's being slept on. I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of wide receivers. There's a lot of talent. This is a pretty deep draft for wide receivers and quarterback. And I think quarterback outside the top 4, you have a lot of, what's a good word? You have a lot of guys that could be developmental guys. So, I mean, I think for quarterbacks and for wide receivers, it's a pretty good draft. OGR says, just chilling and listening in. That's the best thing to do. Because Matthew says, a hater's going to hate. I just shake it off. I'm not trying to be a hater either, but DJ is what he is. He is never going to be a winner. He's never a winner in high school. Never a winner in college. Has one winning season in the pros. But don't worry, we're going to roll it back for year 6 because we quadrupled down on our mistakes. OG says, not me. I thought Daniel Jones sucked after year 2. I knew there was DJ issues after year one. And we did a video the last game of the season, or I think the last week. Oh, no, I think it was the week after the season. And I pointed out everything that potentially was wrong with Daniel Jones. And one of the things we harped on immediately was his pocket presence and his inability to sense any type of rush. And I even said in the video, if he doesn't figure out some pocket maneuverability, some pocket presence, some pocket awareness, he's going to get killed because he takes way too many blindside hits. And he does. And I pointed out the fact, if you watched Eli Manning, even in 2004, Eli Manning would go down like he was shot. And all of a sudden you'd be like, the hell is he doing? But then you see the guy going over the top. He took the sack, but he didn't take the big sack. He didn't take the big hit outside of that Jeremiah Trotter when he got whacked. That's the first game. What's Craig said? Good quarterbacks usually have good wide receivers, good offensive line, good tight ends. Name a good quarterback surrounded with subpar talent. Wait, none. Patrick Mahomes. Outside of Travis Kelce, who was his wide receivers? Name me the wide receivers outside of Mark Bavaro for Phil Simms. I'll wait. Let's see. Hirsch for real says Giants need to correct the quarterback situation. OG says the Giants robbed Barkley of his talents. The Barkley, yes, you're right. I was going to pontificate and say something Shakespearean, but you're right. They robbed him of his talent. They really did. They robbed Eli Manning after the 2007 on after 2011. They robbed Eli Manning the same way. And they made these glaring mistakes, and they're doing the same thing with Barkley. T. Brad says, last year, some idiot said Daniel Jones was better than Lamar Jackson. Yes, two-time league MVP Lamar Jackson. How that unrealistic fans can be. Well, don't worry if you compare stats, T. Brad. They're almost identical. Can you imagine you could have given up two first? Lamar was a non-exclusive franchise tag. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Marshall says, Mara created the quarterback mess and Shane needs to fix it. OG says, I'm tired of hearing that. Joe Burrows didn't have any offensive line, got wrecked, missed the season, and still had no offensive line, and still went to a Super Bowl. Eli Manning had a terrible offensive line in 2011. Terrible. God awful. Went to a Super Bowl and won. We destroyed Barkley's career. Rich says, why doesn't anyone ever talk about Jones' eyes that don't seem to be lined up with each other all the time? Do you mean like physically? Because I talk about his eyes all the time because he looks like a deer in headlights. I mean, he looks like he's scared. There's times he goes back under big time situations that if you look at his eyes, he looks scared. But do you mean he's cross-eyed, Rich? I mean, we talk about his. I'm actually curious about that, Rich. So type back in and say, what do you mean by it? Is he cross-eyed, or I've seen the fear in his eyes. You could see it. I have to find the video of the question I asked him at the town hall meeting. I have to find the video. And I got to repost it. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in one of my videos. I did a whole video about the town hall. And the moment I asked him that question, like I said, he started, and it wasn't even a bad question. It was an OBB question. It wasn't a bad question. He grabbed his stomach and started rocking back and forth. And you could see it in his eyes that he was nervous. I'm like, dude, this and the Anacles thing, this was like a softball question. And I got you, and you look like you were going to crap yourself. What's up, Mr. Cutthroat? What's going on, Mr. Cutthroat? I haven't seen you in a while with a big old super chat. The problem is Mara thinks Jones is Manning. You're right. He does think Holmes is Manning. Craig, I've said this. Craig, listen, if you want to be in the chat, that's fine. And I've said this before.
Think you gonna get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And I'm going to say it again. Only crazy people and serial killers write in all capital letters. Okay? You want to have an intelligent, thoughtful conversation. Even keel, dude. Even keel. I don't address questions that are all in capital letters. And a lot of the sacks Mahomes doesn't take is because he is Mahomes and he gets out of them. Because you want to know why? Wait for it. He's got pocket presence. Mr. Cutthroat, let's get back to you. Yes, he does think he's Manning. He looks like Manning. He talks like Manning. He just plays like Cooper Manning. Blazing says, what's up, Blazing says, oh, snap, Tim, I forgot. Good morning. Good morning to you. Blazing also says, Helen Keller has more pocket awareness than Daniel Jones. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Mr. Alvarez says, I never forget the Rams game was Jones was sacked in the front and I never will forget the Cardinals game when Marcus Golden came around the front, looped directly in front of Daniel Jones and wrecked him. And Daniel Jones fumbled on that play as well. He didn't even see him. It's like you get hit by a freight train while you're standing on the tracks, and then you're surprised you got hit by the freight train. I don't know. I don't know. Gavin says, year two, I was done with Jones. I saw too many bad throws. Remember, he was under Deion Lewis at the goal. Oh, my God. I do remember when he underthrew Deion Lewis. Yes, I do remember that. Wow. That is it. Yeah, wow. That's a good memory there. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Mahomes all didn't have talent around them. Tua has more talent around them, but they're not as good as the other names. You're right. You're right. Yes. To which point? Oh, here we go. Yes, he seems to have one eye that moves in a different way. I have to look that up. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that. And don't forget to hit the like. Why? Because it helps in the algorithms. It helps grow the channel. And for the people that want to grow the channel, just go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Oh, I forgot to post. I was going to post this article. I love this article. And I just did this article today. Go read that article after. It is all about how Baker Mayfield is worth $1.4 billion compared to Daniel Jones. And to help out the people in the cheap seats and the slow people, I had to write satire above it because people thought I was being serious. Not only do I reference Gladiator, I reference DuckTales for my friend James Williams. Blazing says Jones can't read defense. We need a capable rookie to come here and teach him how to play quarterback. That's what we need, man. That's what we need. We need a kid to come in here and teach Daniel Jones how to go through his progressions. I do love the lazy eye, Daniel Jones. I do love the lazy. Daniel Jones got a lazy eye. That might explain some things. Let's see here. Logic's Fine says, Big Tim, good morning. Keep up the good work. My best to your friend. You too, Logix. Hope everything's going well. Let's see. OG, Patrick Mahomes lost the Super Bowl to Tom Brady. His own line sucked that year and still made it to the Super Bowl. You're right. He did. But no, Craig's going to put it all in capital letters. We got the big old super chat coming in, Mr. Cutthroat. Lol, I don't talk to people who write in all caps either. It's because they have no intention of having a... I'm going to say this in the Silent Centurion voice.
I do not talk to people who write in all capital letters either. It's because they have no intention of having serious dialogue. By your command.
Okay, we're going to end the stream because that just summed it up perfectly. That's not... Mr. Cutthroat, that summed up everything I believe, everything I think. Read it one more time. I don't talk to people writing in all caps either. It's because they have no intention of having serious dialogue. It's the same people that you try to have a political conversation with, and all they do is scream over you. They're screaming non sequiturs because of the fact that they don't actually have a thought, and they don't want to hear anything that you are going to say. Oh, that was good. Moet, what's going on? Tim DJ looked like he had straight stage fright and plays like he's playing with cleats on the wrong feet. Maybe he does. Let's see. He also, Mr. Cutler says, I've been gone for a while because of girl problems. Flowers, a nice note, dinner, That could help. I don't know what you did. I just automatically assume, because you got to always go by the assumption that we did it. So that helps. I'll drink some water now. All right. What are we up to likewise? I want 100. I want to get... I'm doing all that. I want to get 100. We need to get 100 likes today so we could get Daniel Jones LASIK for his lazy eye. Oh my God, Rich, you're going to kill me, man. You are going to kill me with that one. Let's see. Douglas says, Jones is the greatest quarterback you've ever seen 50 years from now in a retirement home bowl. Oh,
that's what she said.
Let's see. Stanley said the Giants let Barkley go. They will have that offense next year, especially don't have a number one receiver because Barkley is the only weapon on the Giants. You're right. He's the only offense. He's the only one that scores.
That's what she said.
Oh my God. Captain Matumbo, Admiral Matumbo says, when was the last time the Giants had a stud kick returner? Well, you have Gunner. Gunner ran it back for a touchdown on that punt. People forget the fumbles. People forget you take away that punt. He averaged like 7.5. People forget he got cut by the Packers and the Patriots. He doesn't play special teams extremely well, which is another reason why he's kind of like a David Sills that can return kick. I love it too, Joe Rep. He has a lazy eye. Remember his goal line INT against the Steelers because he didn't throw the ball away. He's been making bad decisions. That's another game I don't remember. Jeez. Matthew says, I have a friend who is a Pats fan, wants them to sign Baker. He thinks the Pats can get him for the cheap. Yeah, Baker's going to get like $87 million. What's up, T-Brad? T-Brad, you coming on later? Because I got to close out. I got to close out by noon. So you going to come on? Mr. Cutthroat says, I'm doing all that. I'm going to give you another word of advice, Mr. Cutthroat. Don't be here. Go spend time with her. That might help you. No, don't go anywhere. Okay. You can't go anywhere for at least till noon. Juan says, I like the guy, but they should have traded Barkley at the training day. They should have traded Barkley. Yes, they should have. T-Brad says, is Daniel Jones an elite quarterback yet? Chad Morton. Oh my God, a Chad Morton sign. I'm waiting for someone to say David Wilson. David Wilson would have been the greatest running back the Giants have ever had if he didn't get hurt. People forget that David Wilson wasn't that good before he got hurt. They remember the highlights of David Wilson. Just remember David Wilson wasn't that good. What? I have an autographed David Wilson jersey in the box over there. Juan says they could have gotten them picks to build their team liking the regime is cooked. Yeah, they stuck with too many Gettleman guys. Blazin says, you guys are realizing the looming problem of Barkley leaving and the astute general manager and company thinking they can replace him with a mid-round quarterback in the 5th round or so. You know, what do you mean a mid-round quarterback? What do you mean a mid-round guy in the 5th round? I can't think of any guy who was taken in the 5th round that could replace him. And I'm not talking about the guy in the other shirt, the black shirt. I'm not talking about that guy. I've said it before. I'm bigger than the running back. Don't want that guy as my running back. T-Brad says, Tim will be getting Drake May. My source said it will be done at a restaurant. Can't jump on, brother. Well, you suck, T-Brad. Billy Taylor Express, also known as the Billy Taylor 2-Yard Express. Billy Taylor, running back in the early 80s for the Giants, went on to the Washington Federals at the start of the USFL and sucked there just as much. I also believe that Mara is trying to reincarnate Eli Manning and Baker and the Barber duo with Jones and Baker. The problem is Jones isn't Manning. You know, it's funny. In some ways, Barkley isn't Barber. Two different types of backs. And Barber never, especially towards the end of his career, never really ran into the injury bug. You didn't have to cringe every time Barber got up slow, especially those last couple of years. So in some ways you're right, but in other ways it's like, you know, there's no way to create that because all those guys are totally different players. And Barber hit his pinnacle his last really 3 years. I mean, you could go back and say 2012 when he had that first 1,300 season, because people forget Barber had 5 years in a row where he averaged over 1,300 yards. He actually averaged like 1,500 yards in the last 5 years. He had 1,300, like 1,200, 1,500. And he had that one season where he almost had 19. I think he had like 1,850 or something like that. And then his last season, I know he had over 1,600 yards. So, and that was at 31. So, I mean, the guy really excelled, and he would carry the ball at least 300 times. He averaged over 300 times the last 5 years. So, if you look at it, the Barkley method, it's not really the Barkley. It's really not. They're totally different players. Totally different players. At a restaurant, can't jump on my brother. Well, like I said, you suck. Cutthroat says true. That's right. You can't leave. Barber at 9,000. There we go. 9,514 yards in 6 years. Yeah, I mean, he had a stretch that he was so Tiki Barber, for all his idiocy, in reference to actually speaking the truth in 2007 and then trying to find a way to get himself back in the Giants' good graces by basically being a Howard Cross kiss ass from since 2008 to now, where he really doesn't chastise anything the Giants do. But Tiki Barber had a stretch for 6 years where he was phenomenal. If he would have played the last 2 years of his career, he probably would have had about 1,400 yards rushing and another 7,000 receiving. I mean, that's crazy. I think he had 67 touchdowns, 67, 66 total touchdowns. He probably would have had like 80. He would be a Hall of Famer. He would literally be a Hall of Famer right now if he didn't do what he did. Rich says, would you think that when your eyes aren't in sync that you would be able to go through your progressions much faster? Yes, I was actually thinking, you know what, Rich? I'm going to Google this. Yes, if you have lazy eye, you should see the field better because one eye is always going to the other side of the field. He is so disrespected. He's disrespected because of what he did. That's why he's disrespected. Williams or Daniels, please. Well, Antonio, if you want to say please, okay. How about both? I've said it before, guys. I'm going to say it again. Williams, Daniels, May, or Penix. The Giants take any of those guys, any of them, I'm happy. Really don't care where they take them in the first or second round. You get one of those guys, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Blazin says, what Joe Shane does in the offseason draft will make or break it. This is it. This is real. People are like, well, Joe Shane will get year 4. No. Right now, Joe Shane's first class is not looking that hot. Outside of Banks, his second class is not looking that hot. If he flames out in year 3 with these picks, remember when we were told you can't screw up 5 and 7 or 5 and 8, whatever the hell it was? You can't screw those picks up. I'm not a genius because you can't screw them up. Well, you might have. And you didn't bring in a defensive coordinator that only blitzes like 25-30% of the time and likes to drop his linebackers and defensive ends into coverage. And he has one of the worst pass defenses in the league the last years outside of the 2 Jim Schwartz years. Yeah, that's not like this. I don't have this warm, fuzzy feeling about this defense. Unless he is going to switch and become and understand what Wink didn't understand was he didn't have the players to run the defense that he ran in Baltimore. He didn't understand it year 1. He was kind of understanding it year 2. If Shane Bowen comes in and tries to run a similar style of defense that the Giants don't have the pieces for, you're going to have the same problems. And Shane Bowen has not been known to have any quality in his past defenses. Any quality whatsoever. No quality. And it's shown. And the years that he did, those were the 2 Jim Schwartz years. And we've talked, may the Schwartz be with you. We've talked about this. Back in 2020, Mike Vrabel said Shane Bowen was the defensive. They did not have a defensive coordinator. They were 11-5. They went to the playoffs. They had one of the worst defenses in the league. Vrabel said that Bowen did all the work. He made all the plays. He put in the assignments. He called the plays on Sunday. He was a defense coordinator without the title. They brought in Jim Schwartz the next year after he took a year off, because Jim Schwartz was the former defensive coordinator, former head coach, not of Titans, but he was a former head coach. So they brought him in to be a mentor. And we went back and we did this. We looked this up. Because so many people didn't know what Jim Schwartz did those 2 years, because he was like assistant consultant coach. And someone from Tennessee sent me an article. And in that article, it said, from Jim Schwartz's mouth, my job was to mentor the defensive coordinator and the defensive coaching staff, to be another set of eyes, to tell them and not be upset if my suggestions weren't taken, but tell people, I would do this. In my career, I did this. The defense for Tennessee in 2021 and 2022 became a very good defense again. Very good defense. 2023, Schwartz takes the job as a defense coordinator with the Cleveland Browns. The defense outside of the rush outside of stopping the run, falters. And they had a terrible. Everyone wants to talk about their rush defense, defense against the run. Everyone wants to talk about their inside the red zone defense. Everyone wants to talk about that, but no one wants to talk about what their pass defense looked like. And there's something in sports and football. I know this is going to be mind blowing. That if a team has a bad pass defense, normally you would attack the pass defense. They have a bad run defense, you attack the run defense. So normally one of the other statistics looks better because you're not rushing the ball as much, because you were going after them vis-a-vis the air. I know. Earth-shattering, mind-blowing, but that's what you do. So if you only give up 3.8 yards on the rush, but you're giving up 11.6 on the pass, teams are going to look at that and go, I'm just going to attack that's what they did. That's what they did with Anthony Richardson. And when in that Indianapolis game, this is how they lost those overtime games. That's how some of these games they lost. They had the lead and they lost the game because their pass defense was so porous. So my biggest concern is Shane Bowman's going to come in here and try to fit the pieces that he doesn't have into a less aggressive defense, because you built this defense the last 2 years around Wink. You drafted a guy because of Wink. You brought in a guy in Simmons, Isaiah Simmons, because of Wink. Bobby Okereke had one of his best seasons. I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably because of Wink. So if the philosophy is going to be totally different, there could be some issues. Logic's fine. Says Tiki Bar's problem is the off-field stuff, the stuff with the dying wife and his girlfriend at the same time, bad-mouthing teammates. He is not well liked among money fans. Yeah, he also divorced his wife to date the young intern. Stanley says, hey, Tim, do you consider Eli Manning? Oh, I consider Eli Manning Hall of Famer completely. You got a guy with 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, top 10 most statistical categories in the entire league. He finished out. He was in the tops like 6 in all these categories before he retired. People are going to say it's longevity, and he had one of the longest Ironman streaks. Longevity is important. Was he the great? He had like 8 4,000-yard seasons in a row. He had multiple seasons with 20 touchdowns. He had multiple seasons of 30-plus touchdowns as well. Yes, he had a lot of interceptions. I think he's ranked 16th in league history in interceptions. But look at the top 15 guys ahead of him. The most of them are Hall of Famers. When you play quarterback for as long as you do, yes, you're going to throw interceptions. That's just called life. But a guy that's got 2 championship rings, 2 championship MVPs, in the top statistical categories, in the top 10 in almost every single passing category, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Not even a question in my mouth, in my mind. Rich says, but he's a good kid and works hard. That's like saying Nevada is the dry heat. I'm going to go with Arizona as a dry heat. Blazen says, I know I'm going to get hate, but Bo Nix, and no Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a lot of these quarterbacks coming out, especially with Bo Nix out of Oregon after the Auburn fiasco. Bo Nix is the antithesis of a one-read quarterback. Go look at the Oregon game. Go look at the Oregon film. He is the antithesis of a one-read quarterback. Big Al Gigante says, hit the like button, please. Someone's blending something upstairs. Big Al Gigante says, what's up, man? Today's draft that we've been DJ Purgatory for way too long. Stop the madness. We need a real pass rush to have a chance this year. Hit the like button. Big Al says, we need a 1,000 likes. It's Chris for the love of MMA. What's going on, my brother? Smash the like just for Chris dropping into his house. AJ says, does anyone see Spencer Rattler as a franchise quarterback? I don't see him as a franchise quarterback right away. I see him as a guy that's got talent. I see that as a guy that's a little bit of a knucklehead. I see he's a guy that has had his issue early on in his career, maybe straightened himself out a little bit. He's got talent. He's got the arm strength. Like I said, you just drool over that quick release. You have to just drool over that release, man. I mean, that release is like, but again, he is another guy that is coming from a system where it's kind of a one read system. You want to look at guys that aren't one read, and same with Joe Milton. Joe Milton in Tennessee, after Hendon Hooker left, the coach at Tennessee figured out, again, it's a one read guy. Joe Milton's a one read guy. Technically, J.J. McCarthy's a one read guy, but we don't know because he's only thrown 659 passes in 3 years and does have a championship. Rattler's the same way. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb seem to have more of an ability to read defenses. So yeah, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback, but if you draft him after round, I say you take Spencer at round 3 or 4, I'm fine. You take him anywhere in 6 and 7, I'm even happier. Let's see. Zach Attack even knows Titans defense was passing. It's just god awful. I watched most of the Tennessee Titan games. That's why I love it. I watch most of them because I love waiting for Malik Willis play. I watch most of the games. And then I kind of, just got sucked into it. They lost so many games in the fourth quarter. They lost so many games in overtime. They had games that should never have gone into overtime. They're because of their pass defense. Chris said, so based on that information, Shane Bowen didn't learn a thing. Great. I don't know. I don't know. And I just find it weird that 2020 season and that 2023 season sandwiched in between were 2 Jim Schwartz seasons. And Jim Schwartz, do I have you know what this is? I should find this. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to find this. I got to go back to see. I got to go back to see if I can find this email. I got to see. Oh, here we go. It was from Titan. Here we go. The guy was from Titans Wire. Here we go. I think you can read this. I don't think you need to think, but here's the Jim Schwartz, what he did email. This is the Jim Schwartz. He explains his role with the Titans. And I love it because it says, my job was not to, here from Jim Schwartz's mouth himself, my job was not to be a coordinator, but my job was to help the coordinator, to help the position coach, and maybe say, hey, look, I've done it this way. I've been success doing it the other way in the past. You may want to try this. My job was to be a mentor. My job was to give an extra set of eyes. My job was to make suggestions and not be ruffled if they were not taken into action. My role was different. That was from Jim Schwartz. That was from the Jim Schwartz article. So that, yeah, it does concern me a little bit. What do we got here? Can you talk about the Giants? Can you talk with the Giants and tell them to think hard about Spencer Rattler? Real talk. Giants aren't going to listen to me. I don't know anyone in the Giants anymore. I used to know people that work at the Giants in the Gettleman situation. I don't know anyone in the Giants anymore. They wouldn't listen to me anyways. Too dashing for them. I believe I'm too dashing and handsome for them. Blazin says the defense is the ball. Who's playing opposite Tay Banks? Someone that are either going to draft or someone they're going to bring in vis-a-vis free agency. Because once you lose Adoree Jackson, we're in a shit ton of trouble. Blazin says, Tim, we've been eating DJ slop on a Swanson TV dinner. Any quarterback looks better with a King's meal. Listen, I'm going to tell you about the old school Swanson. You got the Salisbury steak with the brownie, the cranberry sauce, and the mashed potatoes back in the 80s. That shit was the bomb. Let's see. Here's Juan says Spencer Rattler could be a sleeper pick, but he needs to develop and build a team around him. Boy, that sounds like Daniel Jones. Logic's finest is the systems. Logic finest says, which is true. Bo Nix is a system quarterback like J.J. McCarthy. Jim Harbaugh had the secret sauce for getting the most out of a player system. That you can't overlook the Auburn years, and that's what a lot of people do with Bo Nix. They look at the physical attributes. Listen, if you want to talk about physical attributes. 100%. Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix have physical attributes. Bo Nix has a lot of physical attributes. But you're 100% right. They had systems built for them, and they were run one read quarterback. Stanley says, "Hey, do you think the reason why Shane Bowen had Tennessee's pass rank so low is because they had the lack of talent in the secondary plus injuries?" Well, here's the other thing. They also traded away their starting safety. That could help a little bit. And normally, if you have a bad pass defense, you do other things like increase your blitzing to help mitigate your bad pass defense, because we've said this a million times before. A good pass rush can make a bad pass defense look good, and a good pass defense can make a bad pass rush look good because you're giving extra time on either side. So there's ways to get around it. Zero Dark 30 says, you mean you use the word antithesis means the opposite. You mean to use epitome. Sorry. Well, no, I don't remember what I said. You're probably right. Shane Bowen is stubborn like Wink. I don't know if he's stubborn like Wink. I don't know. He could be. I don't know. We'll have to see. I thought Wink, you know what the thing is? I thought Wink would have adjusted. I do think he would have adjusted, but he didn't. I thought he would. So maybe if Shane adjusts because he understood that you need to hit the like button, we never know. I like Rattler. He's got grit, moxie, and experience. He went to South Carolina to learn the program, different system than the air raid offense. My loving wife is bringing me my drink. And she knows the best cup to bring it in, of course, is Black Rifle. Because that's shit, it matches my shirt. Matches my shirt. That's it's green. Yesterday's drink was purple. It's got protein in it. T-Brad says, yes, Tim, old school swans. Oh, old school swans dinners were the bomb. Oh, they were great, man. They were great. You couldn't microwave them. They had microwaves when T-Brad and I were children, but you didn't microwave them. People forget microwaves been around since the 50s, but you couldn't microwave it. You had to bake it. 425 for like 25 minutes. You had Salisbury steak, the mashed potatoes, the cranberry sauce, and the little brownie in the middle. Oh, God, it was just the way it was. Blazin says Swanson dinners was the bomb, and was the fried chicken, man. The fried chicken was great too. They were my two favorite when Mom loaded up with the fridge. Yeah, that was good. Let's see here. If I find this hilarious that people who like DJ's contract said that it was a good deal and we can get what we can get out of it. Now the same people are talking about restructuring the cap money. You're not wrong. Garth Hudson says, why would we pick a so-called system quarterback if the Dable system might be there if anything goes wrong next year? Well, Garth gets it. Well, we don't even technically know what Dable's system is, because we know what Dable's system is with Daniel Jones. Imagine if you had a quarterback with more talent. Gotta get to work, says T-Brad.
Gotta get to work.
For the T.
That's right.
Yes. For the Brad.
Come on. My name is Willie. I keep the ladies screaming, and all my fans got screaming. You can defeat me, you're dreaming.
Flex your chest with Metrex. In the oven. I always love Stouffer's French bread pizza. That's all we made our son French bread pizza yesterday. He didn't like it. We are done. What are we done with? Rattler equals Davis Webb equals Kyle Lauletta. No, I don't think it's that bad. Next 5 years of trash. This is good by Zach. Total pass EPA, Giants 10.43, Tennessee Titans negative 73.39, negative yards given up, Titans pressure rate 31.8, Titans tied with the Titans 31.8, Titans blitz rate 40.2 to Titans 20.1. Oh, Zach, what would I do without you? James, are you still out there? Is anybody out there? Let's see. They have no choice but to draft JJ McCarthy. It's an edict. It's by law. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. We're at what are we at? 55 likes, 90 something people. We had 100 some people in it a minute ago. This is terrible. Don't make me do math. So that means with 96 people minus 55, there should be at least 497 likes. Logic's Finance says we need a system quarterback. We need a system quarterback. Need a head coach who can build their entire tailor to the limited skill sets and a player with the good talent to help the quarterback 24/7. Dable hasn't done that either. Sorry, T. I got to leave in about 15 minutes. I got to leave in about 15. What is Dable's system, Tim's? West Coast or downfield? It's rink-a-dink. It's dink and dunk. It's a one-read system. We thought that we were limited. People, and I said this before about Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was not a bad OC. Jason Garrett went by the edict of the head coach, Joe Judge, who told him, and they even talked about this, don't let Daniel Jones lose the game. Don't let him make throws that are going to cost us turnovers, because he had the big turnover, Tom. Take the ball out of his hand. Don't make him be the final deciding factor. And you could tell they ran games just like that, because they didn't want Daniel Jones to lose them the game. I go back to that Seattle game, which we predicted. We were off by 1 point. We predicted the Giants were going to win. I think we were off by 1 point. And I said the same thing with that Seattle game. You build a system, you run. You basically you're luring them into a trap. You Admiral Akbar them. It's a trap. You draw them in, and then you take your shot. And then you play good defense. And that's exactly what they did. They lulled them into a sense of security. And what happened was then they took that big shot in the second half. I even said that is even though they only scored like 17 points, that game was one of the best, well thought out offensive game plans. Even though they didn't have a lot of yards, that I have ever seen, because it did everything right and it was built the right way. And defensively, they also understood your entire game plan is going to be to contain Russell Wilson. That was the game that Carter Coughlin was supposed to be. That was going to be the launching game of his career. It wasn't, because he basically contained Russell Wilson at one point by himself. And he's never been. That was his Ramsey Barton Carolina game, where he had 100 yards because we had no one else to throw the ball to. But that is the perfect game plan. And the problem is right now, Dable understands. I give Dable credit for this. He doesn't try to do things that Daniel Jones can't do. And the problem is the offense looks so vanilla, even more vanilla than our old buddy Jason Garrett, because of the fact that he understands the quarterback that he has. It's amazing that you opened up the offense immediately after Daniel Jones got hurt. You put in Tyrod Taylor. I go back to the Chicago game where Tyrod Taylor got hurt, got concussed on that bad non-penalty, which should have been called. I think it was the third play. They had been dinking, dunking, and running the ball against the Bears all game long. 3 or 4 plays in with Tyrod Taylor, they take a shot deep. It was an interception, but they took a shot deep into the corner of the end. They threw like a 60-yard bomb to the corner of the end zone, or towards the end zone. It was intercepted. But it was amazing to me that this entire game went through, but at the end of the day, they didn't take a shot until they put in Tyrod Taylor. Zacatech says, I would call Shane Bowman's defense a bad multiple. I just hope that we have. And to Bruce's point here, we need a system. We need an identity. We need a philosophy. 86 Giants, we were run the ball, play great defense, come up with a big play when needed on passing. 90, we were the same way. 2007, the defense came on after week 4. Quarterback plays would turn the season. The quarterback play turned that postseason around. And the same thing in 2011. Quarterback play led the Giants with their defense. We need an identity. Gino says, helpfully keeping Jerome Henderson keeps the secondary from being bad under Bowen. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I just don't like the fact that if you are a defensive coordinator, you've been a defense coordinator, technically, yes, title-wise 3 years, technically 4 years, that you're not allowed to bring in your guys. That we have already hired the staff. So this is what you got. Josh Allen, Dable system is Josh Allen and Diggs. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Chris says the system was, I got Josh Allen now. Oh, shit. Joe Rab says it's hard right now while the car is moving. Sun doesn't help either. Where are you going? Where are you going, Joe Rab? The visor in my Jeep broke. The sun visor on the driver's side. It broke like in October. And I've been waiting for the part since October. So I called up the dealer Friday. And I said to the guy, I said, hey, listen, I can't drive my Jeep from like sundown to sunup because I can't put the visor in. I can't fucking see. I literally cannot drive. I almost drove into a snow pile. And thank God it's a Jeep Gladiator, so I could just go right over it. But I almost drove into a snow pile because I couldn't see it because the sun was in my eyes. And I love it because the guy's like, well, this has been on a back over a little while. I was like, well, when exactly has this been back order since? He was like, October 3rd. I'm looking at the thing going, it's like February 14th or February 16th. That's more than a little while. We need a damn quarterback. G-Man says another season with Jones. How exciting. Dad damn Gettleman. I don't blame Gettleman now. G-Man says 2011 with Bowen last place pass defense last year. I think we definitely need some cornerback help. A little bit. Just a little bit of cornerback help we're going to need. And to Zach's point, he only blitzed 20% of the time. So you're going to have a lot of guys on an island. What worries me about Bowen is he had Schwartz for those 2 years, and Tennessee seemed to adjust their game plans. And it just seemed like Bowen ran the same system all year long, literally all year round. He just fucking ran the same system over and over again, even though it wasn't working, even though they were giving up big plays at the end of games to lose games. So it's kind of weird that we bring in this guy, and we only have one true corner right now. And I don't want to hear about Darnay Holmes. Don't even bring up Darnay Holmes for me. Zach Attack says, do you think the Giants are living in the past since the Giants won 4 Super Bowls, even though our last one was 12 years ago? I think a lot of Giant fans are living in the past. I think they're living on the edge. It's my protein shake. I'm getting ready to come out of retirement. Giants need a corner. Never played corner. I played safety and I played linebacker, but I never played corner. But I figured, how hard can it be? Daniel Jones can play quarterback. Why can't I play corner? Let's see. Juan says we should have went after Gardner Minshew after last season, and instead of paying all that money for a fringe quarterback, we should have. And those that do not know, you can go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. And you can watch all of the live streams. We have articles. I am writing articles with each video. That's what we are writing, articles with each video. Today's article, I'm going to post it in the link chat section again, is about Baker Mayfield. The article is titled, Baker Mayfield, the first $1 billion QB equal to Daniel Jones's contract, to Daniel Jones's deal. And right now it's by Online Big Blue LLC. And right underneath it, it says satire. Just so people know, I had to put that in there. And if you didn't read it, go read my Ode to Eli Manning. That was my Shakespearean Hall of Famer rant. I love the end. And I'm not going to toot my own horn, but toot toot. Heart on the field, valor in the fray. Eli Manning's legacy shall never fade away. In the halls of fame, his name shall resound. A gridiron tightened, forever renowned. Yep. I know. Very Shakespearean. The whole article I wrote in a Shakespearean tone, kind of in a little format, because I was paying homage. And everyone knows I like to quote Shakespeare. Anyone that's watched this show. But it's been fun writing. It's been different, I've been trying to just add a few things, to the channel. Trying to do a little something different. But, I don't know if anyone's read it, leave me I don't get, I like to, I would like to get a pulse on people of how they are enjoying the articles, how they're enjoying reading them, if they have read them. If you like I said, it's NewYorkGiantsLive.com. And alas, poor York, I knew him well, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest, of the most excellent fancy. To the horse bore me on his back 1,000 times now. And sorry. Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Zacatech says Vrabel had the final say on defense. I read somewhere that was Bowen's system or it was Vrabel's system because Vrabel did the same thing back in Houston before he got the job in Tennessee. You're right. Mr. McCord says poetry. I'm crying real tears here, Tim. Damn, Tim. That was writing skills. Already bookmarked the site. I've said it before. I was a journalism major and a broadcast journalism major for 2 years. Then I got hurt. There was no chance I was ever going to be pro. No chance whatsoever. I was not good. But then my father sat down and told me one day, you can't make any money in journalism. Switch to business. Now you see these fools making like $20 million a year. They're making Daniel Jones money. The site looks good. Yeah, we're still working on the site, though. We're still working on it. I want to put a comment. Does anyone have any suggestions for the site? That would be another thing. If you want to drop me a note about that as well. Does anyone has any suggestions on the site? Because I'm trying to add new things. I'm going to be adding on people's other content creators podcasts and YouTube's channel on a separate section we already currently have on there. Just haven't gotten through everything. We already currently have, like I said, you can watch the live streams on the site. You can read the articles. You can watch all our YouTube videos. So if anyone's got any other suggestions or ideas, please let me know. I'd be curious as well. Thank you, Blazing Friday Bookmark. Hey, Tim, any running backs in the draft or free agents you want since writing on the wall is for Saquon Barkley? It's weird. The running back position has been devalued so much, but then you got so many people that want to draft running. You have a couple people last year that took running backs high. You're not going to take a running back out. You're not going to grab the kid from Michigan. Well, maybe you can. What's the kid from Michigan's name? Blake. I can't. But he's only like 5'8". I like the kid out of Texas. I like the kid out of Texas as well. Who was the running back? Who was the running back for the Ducks? He's another one's like 5'10". His name is Bucky. I want to say Bucky. I don't know why I want to. I don't know why I want to say Bucky. Bucky Irving. He's another guy that I could suggest. Zacatech says suggestions for the set. Have a little video on the articles that recap its first. It recaps it in two. No, because if I recap it, no one's gonna fucking read it. I'm not writing this shit for nobody to read. I am stunned though that people actually read the articles. I am stunned by that. The most highly viewed, because you can go through the analytics. The most highly viewed page is the articles. Oh, Blake. Yeah, Blake is quarterback. Barry Sanders was only 5'8", and none of these guys are Barry Sanders, though. But I like the kid. Like I said, I like, is Benson coming out at Florida State? Is he coming out this year? He's a bigger back. He's a downhill guy. I think he averaged almost 6 yards carry. I know he didn't have 1,000. I think he had over 900. He didn't have 1,000, but I know he had 14 touchdowns and still caught like 25 passes or 25 passes. He's still dead. So that, so he almost had, I remember he almost had 1,000 yards between rushing and receiving, I believe. But he's a big downhill running back. I know it's Trey Benson. He's another guy that I would take a look at. There's a kid over in Louisville. I can't remember his name. And what's his name? Another bigger back who could probably have in the later rounds. The UCLA kid. Carson Steele. That'd be another one. We need to hire Chase Blackburn as a linebacker coach. I like Bunsen and Bucky Irving from Oregon. I like Allen from Wisconsin as well. Yeah, those are, like I said, I mean, I can see them getting it back. I can't go in with Eric Gray as my starting running back. Oh, dear Lord, please help us all. If we go with Eric Gray, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how many likes we're at. I'm going to check that before I leave because it is 12:01. 61 likes. I would have taken 65. Yes, I like Steele a lot. It is Steele. We have to do a running back video. How about the Michigan? Yeah, the kid from Michigan. I can't remember his freaking name. What's his name? I can't think of his name. It's Blake something. I remember that. He had over 1,200 yards. Are you going to watch UFL at all? Yeah, I am. I'm an idiot. I watch all football. I actually enjoyed the USFL. I didn't watch the XFL, but I enjoyed the USFL. I got a kick out of it because I actually went to a bunch of back in the 80s. I went to a bunch of USF early 80s, like 83. So I went to a bunch of USFL games. I used to go to Jersey General games all the time. Then I would go to the Philadelphia Star games because they're all together. And I love it because I remember, like I said, today you couldn't do it. But I remember being dropped off at the vet and being dropped off at the Meadowlands with a ticket and $20 and having my parents say, we'll pick you back up at 5. And I would go with like 5 friends. I need to find a favorite. I don't even know what the teams are. I have to find it. I really enjoyed watching the XFL last season. Who are the teams? Do they have any of the teams from the USFL? They got the uniforms. I figure they're not going to get rid of them. What are the teams in the UFL? I'm trying to find the teams. That was the merger. Okay, so the teams are going to be, there's 2 conferences. Okay. So you're going to have the Birmingham Stallions, the Rough Riders, Memphis Showboats, the Michigan Panthers, Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, St. Louis Blackhawks, the San Antonio Brahmas. Oh, they didn't have either the Stars or the Generals? All right, I'm going to be because of they won the inaugural season for the USFL. I'm going to be a Michigan They beat the Philadelphia Stars. I'm going to be with Bobby Hebert and Anthony Carter. I'm going to be one of them, but Reggie White played for the Showboats. And Birmingham Stallions back in the USFL had Steve Spurrier. I'm gonna be Mike Nolan's the coach of the Panthers, so I'm gonna be a Panthers fan. All right, I'm going to be a Michigan Panthers fan. It has been decided. I'm a Michigan Panthers fan. Hey, I was taken to see Generals when they had Herschel Walker as a running back. Little known USFL fact: the season that Herschel ran for 2,000 yards, there was a guy. This is going to be a trivia question before we close it out. Herschel Walker ran for 2,000 yards in one of his NFL seasons. They had another running back on that team that ran for 1,000, and he used to play for the Giants. And he has a Super Bowl ring with the Giants. Anyone remember? Anyone remember? I was a Stars fan because they had their offense. Well, you had Kelvin Bryant, you had Chuck Fusina, Maurice Carthon. There you go. Number 44. Blazing nailed it. I don't have anything to give. Madison Hedgecock. I don't have anything to give you, but I love that with two Madison Hedgecocks. Maurice Carthon. Number 44. He ran for 1,000 yards in USFL. Same season that Herschel Walker ran for 2,000. I don't remember that was the Brian Sipe years or the Doug Flutie years. I don't remember off the top of my head. I got a lot of stuff from the USFL around the house. I have an original Philadelphia Stars pennant somewhere around here too. Let's see. I might just end up rooting for the local team. I have no idea who to root for. I'm a Michigan Panthers fan. It's been decided. I want to thank everyone for hanging in and hanging out. Go check out the website. Go check out NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Read those articles. There is a little box that'll pop up where you can literally send me a message in that box. It'll pop, and I get the message. I get it on my phone actually. So if you leave a message there, I will return that message for you. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in and not tuning out. This is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. I want to wish everyone a happy and safe Sunday, and I'm out of here. New video.